So you want to know more about petrified giants or animals? That's good. That's real good. Alright, listen to this. So first, the meaning of petrified is when you change organic matter into a stony substance, a bit like this giant snake found in Thailand. You can tell this is not a natural rock formation because you can literally see the snake's scales. Many people struggle to believe in this because they don't believe that giants existed and they don't believe that animals could have grown that big. But let me ask you a question. What do you think this is? A natural rock formation? Come on, brother. Now the mainstream narrative says it takes a minimum of 5,000 years for something to be petrified, and the way this occurs is when something is buried underwater, buried under mud, or buried under volcanic ash, basically deprived from oxygen, which is all possible. Which leads me on to the second meaning of the word petrified, which is to make something so frightened it is unable to move. Oh my days, I believe that there once was a weapon that could turn organic matter into stone, a bit like the story of Medusa. Seeing such a weapon turn people into stone would also make you so frightened you was unable to move, hence the word petrified. Look at this titan found in Italy. It was almost as if somebody told him to stand in place, hold the bridge, and then he was petrified into stone. What happens in the dark must come to the light. What you know about the Petrified Forest in Arizona? Oh my days. So check it. They're saying what caused the Petrified Forest is that it grew over 200 million years ago near waterways. During floods, water forced the trees to be pulled up from the ground. Over time, the wood from the trees became petrified. So let's take a closer look. Have you ever seen anything like that in your life? That looks more than petrified. That looks crystallized or turned into some type of marble. So let me ask you a question. If this has been naturally petrified, who cooked the wood which has been turned into stone into small pieces? And you know what's funny? Everybody's looking in the front, but nobody's looking in the background at the giant tree stumps. Now I want you to compare these pictures. This is Arizona, and this is a mining site. Arizona, this is a mining site. And again, Arizona, and again, this is a mining site. So basically what I'm trying to say is sometime in the past, somebody cut down these trees with advanced technology which we do not understand and was mining for resources. The question is, who? Oh my days. Oh my diddy. So you want to know if any giant tools, saws, or axes have ever been found? That's good. That's real good. The answer is yes. The eyes are useless when the mind is blind. As you can see, that this axe is resting on what we told you was a giant tree stump, not a mountain. So your next question should be, who cut down the trees and why? Oh, we've got your ass. We've got your ass now. So you want to know where all the remains are of the people wielding these axes? That's good. That's real good. And you go on to say, they would have been so massive, you wouldn't have missed it. Well, that's just the thing. You did miss it. The reason why you ain't seeing no remains of these skeletons, because the whole body has been petrified. You see, what you don't understand is we're living on a mass graveyard. A mass graveyard. Sometime in our history, this realm went through a catastrophic event, turning many things into stone. The evidence is everywhere, but the eyes are useless when the mind is blind. Now there's so many ways that you can die, but this way has to be one of the worst. Now I don't know what type of freaky thing these giants was on, but this one got caught in the act. she was definitely for the streets. It brings a whole new meaning to being bricked up. Imagine participating in adult relations and being petrified and turned into stone in the act. That can't be a good way to go out. But then again, there are worse ways that you can die. I'm sure you've all heard of the story of Medusa. How if you look into her eyes, you'll be turned into stone. The actual name for such an occurrence is called petrified, where you are so frightened that one is unable to move or terrified, or two, organic matter changed into a stony substance. Now imagine if it was just a metaphor for a weapon that once existed. The meaning behind the word petrified couldn't be more accurate. Seeing such a weapon would literally make you so terrified you couldn't move. Also, you would be turned into stone, which makes me think about the city of Pompeii. The city was a volcano, but what kind of volcano would leave a man looking like this? This guy was caught in 4K. It even makes me think about petrified giants. Behind every myth, I believe there's some truth. So I'm sure most of you have heard by now about this giant face that appeared overnight in Nepal after a piece of a mountain broke away. So a friend told me that this has just been discovered and he told me to check it out. So when I first looked on it, I thought, I've seen this somewhere before. How could this be a new discovery? That's because it's not. You see, the thing about wanting to believe in stuff, sometimes we can easily be deceived, because this is actually a carving found in China, not Nepal. And you can see from this picture that the scaffolding is still on it. So, even though I believe in giants and petrified titans, unfortunately, this isn't one of them. I tried to tell you that this is not a giant petrified being. This is a carving, and you didn't believe me. But when I say I got your ass, oh, I've got your ass. This is a huge carving of Futsi, one of the first three legendary emperors of China. And notice the date, 2019. Trust me, I wanted this to be real just as much as you. And I'm not trying to disrespect nobody, and I'm not trying to debunk anybody. But it wasn't the scaffolding that made me know that this was a carving. It was the fact that I'd seen it before in 2019. And if you want to find out for yourself and do some further research, just type in giant carving in China and go to images. Now this don't make no sense. We can't even create these type of statues today. So let me ask you, what type of equipment was they using in the 1500s that could create statues like these? Oh my days. Just look at the detail in the arms. It was like somebody was petrified and turned into stone. I do wonder what technique they was using that they was able to make solid stone appear see-through. It's absolutely fascinating. Certain techniques and methods have definitely been lost over time, because look at that. Absolutely brilliant. To think that this was done at a time when there was no electricity or no power tools is absolutely astonishing. I've done some further research into this, and apparently they was using artificial stone and artificial marble. However they did it, we sure don't build them like that anymore. We can't even create these type of statues today. I tried to tell you, but you didn't want to believe me. Alright, let's put it to the test. So, on the left, we have a statue made in the 1500s, and on the right, we have a statue made by a modern day artist. One was made with hammer and chisel, and one was made with power tools. And again, the one on the left is what art used to look like, and on the right, that's what art looks like now. The one on the left looks realistic, and the one on the right just looks fake. Now listen, I want you to understand, I have nothing against this modern day artist, or any for that matter, but I want you to understand that we have lost many techniques along the way, and many have been abandoned. And for all the people that said we could create statues how we did in the past, I'm sorry. We just don't make it like that anymore. No technology, just grandmasters of their trade. Why do you insist on ruining human culture? And that's just the thing. It's no longer in our culture to think for ourselves. It's no longer in our culture to ask questions. Our culture is to do what we're told. Our culture is not to ask questions or think for ourselves. Because all I'm doing is asking the question of how did they make the veil made out of stone look see-through? Now this don't make no sense. I don't care what you say. We can't create these type of statues today. So let me ask you, what kind of technology was they using in the 1500s that could create statues like this? This is a statue of Saint Bartholomew, who was allegedly skinned alive. And if you look closely, you can see his skin wrapped around his body. But I don't think this is a statue. I think this was once a real person who was petrified and turned into stone. Oh my